We'll call this regular city council meeting to order on June 2nd, 2025 at 6:04 PM. Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Present.
Mr. Bateman?
Present.
Mr. Sanders?
Present.
Mrs. McClellan?
Present.
Mr. Parrott?
Present.
Mr. Downs?
Present.
Mr. Clemens?
Present.
Mrs. O'Donoghue?
Present.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. All right, is there anybody like to speak under public participation? Okay, for the record, there is no public participation this evening. We will start with the consent agenda. This evening, it consists of 5A, payment of bills, 5B, approval of minutes, April 29th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting, May 5th, 2025 regular city council meeting, May 13th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting, May 19th, 2025 regular city council meeting, and 5C, approval of request from the Hunt For Foundation for the closing of various city streets on Thursday, June 19th, 2025, from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. for the Juneteenth celebration. And 5D, approval of request from Lincoln Christian Church for the closing of various city streets on Saturday, June 14th, 2025, from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. for the all-church picnic.
Move to approve.
Second.
Alderwoman O'Donoghue made the motion, Alderman Sanders second. Okay, before we do a roll call vote on it, we do need to have an amended motion for item 5D. The date on there should be June 21st instead of June 14th. So will someone make an amended motion?
I'll make an amended motion for 5D to change the date to June 21st.
Second.
Alderwoman O'Donoghue made the amended motion, Alderman Sanders second. Discussion on the amendment? Roll call.
I just want to say the Christian church came to me today and they needed to push it back a week due to they double booked something. So that's the reason it needed to be changed.
Any other discussion? Roll call on the amended motion.
Mr.
Please.
Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. McClellan?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donoghue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yep.
Okay, is there any further discussion on the consent agenda as read and amended? Okay, if there's no other discussion, roll call on the consent agenda as amended, please.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. McClellan?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donoghue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Okay, next item up is item 6A, ordinance amending 1-24-3 and 1-27-3 and 1-28-2 of the Lincoln City Code.
Move to approve.
Second.
Alderman Bateman made the motion, Alderman Downs second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donoghue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. McClellan?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Next item is item 6B, ordinance removing 1-21 of the Lincoln City Code.
Move to approve.
Second.
Alderwoman O'Donoghue made the motion, Alderman Anderson second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. McClellan?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donoghue?
Yes.
Next item is item 6C, ordinance creating section 1-6-10 of the city code entitled Code of Conduct.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Bateman made the motion, Alderman Downs second. Discussion? Ms. McClellan, and then Ms. Anderson.
I've been chatting with people. I felt like we needed some clarity. What the ethics people who did the code of conduct did a really good job setting out a framework of some of the really big issues we've been having. And for the aldermen that haven't been here, we've had some kind of really rowdy meetings before. And so what they were trying to do is make a framework for a code of conduct for how an alderman should act within the city council and outside in public. It's kind of trying to set a standard that we should all follow. I think that as we were talking, it became clearer and clearer, like there was some language that said meetings. And so didn't know what, obviously they had in their minds what a meeting was and which meetings they were talking about and how many and things like that, but I didn't know. And it's not in here, and I just felt like we needed to just nail that down. You know, which meetings are they? Are they all of the meetings that we all attend, committee meetings or whatever, or is it just voting meetings? Or I just felt like there needed to be a little language in there so that if something did come up, we had black and white that we could refer to say, no, we were talking about these meetings. The other thing was the number of, the thing that I really felt we needed definition to was an unexcused absence. I know in their minds, and the framework is there for that, but it's like, do we need to fill in the detail that says, well, what is an unexcused absence? If we don't call Tracy, is that unexcused? If we have a family emergency, sickness, vacation, you know, there's a lot of things that happen in our lives, and I felt like we needed, in order, again, to be enforceable, we needed to have some definition to that. So what I'm proposing, there is already an ethics committee, but codifying that, and maybe, as I was talking to Tracy, get someone from the public on there, so there'd be a more robust, I guess, group of people who are studying and putting these things together, and then just getting opinions from the public too. I just think it would be good to maybe think about that, codifying, getting a real ethics committee, you know, getting rules in place and just getting the details in there, so.
So did you have recommendations on that? I believe you've spoke with Mr. Hoblet on this, is that correct?
Yes. Rhonda and I have been talking to David and Mr. Howlett also.
Okay.
I think it would be good to codify an ethics committee, get a member of the public, at least one on it, and have regular meetings and just make it more formal and really people that know they're responsible for this and are really going to dig in, get all the details in there. And this is great. Moving forward, this can be the framework of what they work on. So.
The committee is something that we can bring to a future COW if we'd like to codify that. How's the council feel about that? Mr. Downs?
I guess I'm not quite sure where you're at. Are you asking us to table this, or what are you asking? Oh, okay. Oh.
Maybe next week consider formally creating that.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Okay. So then, are you making a motion to table this item, Ms. McClellan?
I'll second it.
Okay. Ms. McClellan made a motion to table item 6C, and Ms. O'Donoghue second the motion. Is there any other discussion on tabling this item?
With
Alderman, well, I believe Alderman Anderson had something to say first, and then Alderman Parrott, and then Ms. O'Donoghue.
Back on the original exhibit that's in our packet here, does this also include other union employees hired from the city?
No. Just for elected officials.
They have their own, don't they have their own set of,
There's an employee
an employee
handbook.
handbook that has, yeah, the standards in it.
Alderman Parrott?
I think two other discussion points I thought that were mentioned last time, because it says, you said elected officials, but it says city council. Is it the city council only, or is it all elected officials? And then also another point of discussion, I think, was the amount of the fine.
Well, the item A reads, the elected officials of the city of Lincoln are to conduct themselves. So, and then it goes on. But I can let the city attorney weigh in on that if you'd like.
So if I look here to the city code. So right now, 1610 is the city count. Like if you look to the city code, 1-6 is city council. Okay. So 1-6-10 is the code of conduct, I guess, expected of the elected city council. If you wanted to insert those provisions into other areas, we'd have to put those provisions, like say, under city clerk, and then put that a code of conduct in there as well.
I mean, I just know that was one of the
That's just an example, you know. So
one of the
if we do it for
discussions that
treasurer, and
we had talked about as well. I mean,
right.
it's not just the council that could speak during these meetings and stuff. And I'm assuming we're talking about the meetings, we're talking about these meetings, but I'm not for sure.
Right. We can always. There's two schools of thought. You know, you guys could do with this. You could table this. You know, to workshop it a bit more and make it more detailed. There's also the thought that you pass it, and then you critique it as you go. You know, because sometimes when you put in new rules and procedures, or I'll say a code of conduct, things happen and it needs to be tweaked as it goes. That's also perfectly normal as well. I would just, I would just, if this is something serious that you guys would like to do, I just don't want to see you guys like quote unquote workshop it into oblivion. But that's the purview of the council. What you guys want to do, I'll make this however you want it.
Any further? Ms. O'Donohue?
I'm okay with tabling it and creating a committee to work on it, in the committee that's actually going to be in charge of if there are issues that need to be brought up. Those are the people who are going to actually be dealing with the issues, so they're the ones who need to be fully invested, I would guess, in this. So I'm okay with that. I just don't want there to be dragging of the feet. I don't want it to be something that 6 months down the road, there's no committee. 6 months down the road, we still don't have a code of conduct. 6 months down the road, we're still sitting here and doing whatever. So, I mean, I'd like to see a committee formed within the next couple weeks and this being worked on. So that's how I feel about it.
Mr. Bateman?
I agree. We're going to drag this out forever, like we do a lot of our important stuff. But I'd remove the word meetings completely, because in my mind, if you're an elected official, you're an elected official 24/7, 365. I don't care what meeting you're in. I don't care if you're in the back alley behind Thornton's or whatever. You're an elected official for the city of Lincoln. So, my opinion, remove all the words about meetings. It sounds like we're trying to go down the alley. I'm going to make myself be real good this meeting, because next meeting I can just cut loose and let it rip because it's not on the list. So I just feel
Would it be
it's going to be a real code of ethics. It needs to be a code of ethics when.
Would it be in your official capacity as an elected official, or would it be in any capacity?
I think it should be in any capacity.
Any capacity.
I'm just asking for clarification.
Any capacity. You're an elected official. I don't care what you're doing. You're representing the city of Lincoln.
Mr. Hoblit?
So the way it's worded right now, again, I'll change to whatnot, but I do have it in there that the aldermen and alderwomen will conduct themselves in and out of meetings in a manner expected of elected official. That's part A. And it does make mention in meetings, part A. In part B, we have probably conduct, of ethical, professional, and personal relationships. Makes mention of there when they're dealing with the public. Perhaps that language could be more assertive in regards to the public aspect, public-facing aspect of it. There's public confidence. There's always more words we can always add in here, or remove. But ultimately, I think you guys are looking to ensure that your aldermen and alderwomen, your elected officials, are conducting themselves in a manner that is like a person with common sense would act, or think they would need to act when dealing with the public when you are an elected official. So,
Mr. Anderson?
In paragraph G, it says that the trigger an investigation by the ethics committee. I just want to, for clarification for myself, is the ethics committee is the individual who may be in question, are they innocent until proven guilty in a court of law? And what training does the ethics committee have to know what the true law is?
I would defer that to the city attorney.
This isn't a court of law. This would be, it's like when you get assessed a fine, you know, for non-payment of a sewer bill, or, you know, I would say that, you know, we could, if you want to build in there, you know, certain protection provisions, that the ethics committee would consist probably of an alderman or two, member of the public. That's just me speculating, from which they would do an investigation and make a recommendation. I think ultimately, if there's going to be any type of censure or anything action done thereafter, it'd probably be a council. They'd be coming with a recommendation to the council, and then the council would act thereafter.
Yep. Yeah, the committee, the intention of the committee is to be advisory to the council. That's consistent with all of the other committees and commissions.
And it's not the intent to infringe on you know, your freedom of speech.
Correct. Okay, so there's Ms. McClellan.
I just think we need to make sure that the lines are very clear and that it's enforceable, because if we're going to say it, it's like we need to enforce it. We need to be able to enforce it instead of, it just needs, in my opinion, all these questions that are being answered are just what we're talking about. We need to get it so that we're absolutely sure of what we're talking about, absolutely sure of what we're dealing with and how to deal with it. And that clarity, I think, bringing that clarity would make every decision that the ethics committee makes very clear, instead of a lot of gray area and things like that, in my opinion anyway. But
It'd be nice if we didn't have to utilize it.
yes.
Agreed. Okay, there is a motion to table and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call on the motion to table item 6C, please.
Mrs. O'Donoghue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Sure.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. McCullen?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
I was about to.
It'll be brought back at the next cow. Okay, next item is item 8A, City Treasurer's Report for May 2025 revised, excuse me? Do we have to vote on it since it was voted to be tabled?
Okay, I didn't know, since somebody already made a motion for it before they tabled it.
They didn't made a motion to approve and it.
I undo my motion to approve.
Who was the second?
Sam?
Sam?
Also undo my motion to approve.
Okay. Duly noted. Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay, next we'll move on to item 8A, City Treasurer's Report for May 2025, revised and final. Treasurer Conzo.
Thank you, Mayor. As in previous years, what we've done here is updated the totals following the issuance of several checks, primarily from the general fund, and some of them from other funds as well, the sewer O&M fund, motor fuel tax fund, capital projects fund. As a result of that, these are a few thousand less than they were in the original report, and they are highlighted there in bold print where there are changes, and it says revised REV next to that, and you see the totals there for the general fund are slightly down from what they would have been 2 weeks ago when they gave the original report. What you see there also is that it's looking at comparable numbers from last year. It's down there. It's down about 600,000 almost from where we were a year ago, which is not great. It's still a pretty good fund balance, but we would like to go in the other direction. I will say part of that is, we had a great deal of expense with the demolition of the building on Sangamon Street, which is, I think, right around, was it 250,000, somewhere around there, 254, I think. I have to go back and look, but it's somewhere in that area. So that's a good bit of the what we've seen there is significant expenditure for that. I did not include all the revenue received in the last month of the year because that hadn't changed since the last report, so I only put in the totals, which are the result of expenditures that were written with checks dated April 30th or before. Police and Fire Pension Fund, I put just the last couple of months. Police Pension Fund's the same as it was on the previous report. Unfortunately, the Fire Pension Fund, the Consolidated Illinois Firefighters Pension Investment Fund, had not issued reports yet for March and for April. When I gave you the previous report, we now have those reports, and those totals appear there. And I've also attached the usual ledgers that show the expenditures and the receipts during the last month of the year and during the entire 12 months of the year. So you can study that, and if you have questions, I can try to answer them now as much as possible, or happy to do so at a later time.
Any questions for Treasurer Conzo? Okay. Ready to move on to the next item,
I think so.
Treasurer? Okay, next item is 8B, City Treasurer's Report for the Fire Pension Fund for fiscal year 2024-2025. Treasurer Conzo.
Okay. Those of you who are relatively new here haven't seen this report because it's a once-a-year report. And what it does is it shows the investments. Now that's been reduced in number into the consolidated fund as of about 3 years ago. And you're going to see similar thing with the police pension fund as well when we get to that. We still have some annuities that the consolidated fund hasn't yet absorbed. And what you see there is the totals from where we were a year ago at this point in time. Still well under where we should be. You'll see I think it's more or less self-explanatory, all the sources of revenue that we have for the fire pension fund. A lot of it is funded through property taxes. A lot of it's funded by firefighters themselves. If you look at the payroll tax deduction there, you see what it was for the past year, almost $152,000, and the rest of it's self-explanatory. Utility tax, also now that we have that, contributes to it. Interesting too. One of the things you see the general fund balance, but we talked about in the last report. But one of the ways we've increased this in recent years is through transfers from the general fund, and in this case, with the fire pension fund, it's $195,000. The expenditures went up also. Some of that's due to pension payments. There's a COLA there too. Also, you had people retire. You had more people retire. We went through a period there, and I would certainly defer to the chief on this, but where we didn't have hardly anybody retiring for several years, and because they weren't of age to retire. And then last couple of years, we've seen more firefighters retire. It reduces the salary because when they're hired in at a lower amount, but it also, on the other end of it, you're paying out the pension too. Difference there you see about what it was last year. Revenues over expenditures are revenues are under expenditures. As you see there, that transfer from fire pension checking. What we do now that there's a consolidated fund is we have a monthly transfer back and forth to make sure there's enough money in the checking account to make the pension payments. Also true of the police pension fund. And that's the net of what that was. So if you look at that, that's what we took out of the investments in the past year. It was $539,000 that were taken from the consolidated investment fund. The rest you see there, the number of retirees, survivor benefits, very typical. Firefighters, police officers tend to have shorter lives than many other people, and as a result, there's a lot of pensions that are paid out in both fire pension and police pension to survivors. And then you see the number of active participants, and that's just as of April 30th, so there might have been, people coming in on May 1st, and they wouldn't be included in that. So, and then there you see the percent of They've changed the formulas on that too, the actuarial formulas. So you see there a drop over what it was a year ago. That's
Any questions for Treasurer Conzo on the Fireman's Pension Fund report? Okay. Moving on to item 8C, City Treasurer's Report for the Police Pension Fund for fiscal year 2024-2025. Treasurer Conzo.
Thank you, Mayor. You see also there the same type of situation. They consolidated those in 2022, consolidated them into Illinois Police Officers Pension Investment Fund. In both the fire and the police, they've consolidated these, and this is every fire department outside of the city of Chicago. So it's the Chicago suburbs, it's large municipalities like Peoria and Springfield, and it's towns our size and much smaller in some cases. They're all consolidated into that fund. It is similar to what you have with the IMRF, the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, which covers the pensions for other city employees, in particular, in our case, the street department, city clerk's office. What you see there too, we've got some money still at SEFQ and with Edward Jones in a cash account or cash alternative account that does yield reasonably good rate of interest. We did have to withdraw a lot of that for purposes of pension payments in the last year. There's one error on here, and I didn't catch it until now, but that FY 23-24 and 24-25, you look under for the Consolidated Investment Fund, number for 23-24 is not correct, and I'll go back and update this and send it to all of you so you got the correct number. But it would have been somewhere in between the two numbers that you see there for the previous year and the most recent year. Keep in mind with both the Police Pension Fund and the Fire Pension Fund, we had a few months here at the beginning of the year, and certainly the end of last year where the stock market was trending downward. It's starting to go in the other direction again, so I am hopeful that we'll see improvement in the positions of this both consolidated funds. Again, there you have the property taxes and the budget transfers. Again, we've taken, money from the general. We've increased that over several years because we've been in a position to do that. That was not always the case, and if you go back there, if you look at 2016 and 2017, we didn't do that at all. Fire pension fund, it was. I think that was the first year we did it there, and it was very minimal. So, in any case, you see where the amount of revenue, again, the property tax, primary source. And there again, you have the payroll deductions too, that are a substantial part, in this case, $209,000 plus payroll deductions. One interesting thing about that with both fire and police, there's a limit on it. It's set by state statute. I have talked to firefighters and I've talked to police officers who have said they would gladly pay a higher payroll deduction for their pension. That may not be unanimous, but I've talked to many who have said that, but this is what the state permits, so that's what they take. It's about 10, it's just under 10%. I think one's 9.45, which is a lot of, substantial amount of money. And then you see the expenditures there too. A similar situation. You've had more people retire in recent years, and as a result of that, the revenues were under the expenditures just about what they were last time. There, though, we did withdraw considerably more from the Consolidated Investment Fund, a net of $956,100. And there you see the same situation that you saw with fire. You see 22 retirees and 11 survivors, and 2 disabilities. That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Treasurer Conzo? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, moving down the agenda, the next item is 9A, approval of contract for engineering services with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley for the period from May 1st, 2025 through April 30th, 2029.
So moved.
Second.
Alderwoman McClellan made the motion. Alderman Sanders second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. McCullen?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Okay, next item is 9B, approval of Crawford Murphy and Tilly work order number 15 for the curb and sidewalk program for fiscal year 2025-2026 in an amount not to exceed $33,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Alderman Sanders made the motion. Alderwoman O'Donahue second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. O'Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. McCullen?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Next item is 9C, approval of Crawford Murphy and Tilly work order number 13 for planning and design engineering for the sewer project on Campus View Drive in an amount not to exceed $100,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Alderman Sanders made the motion. Alderwoman O'Donahue second. Discussion? Alderman Bateman.
I just want to clarify for the public that this is a section of Campus View Drive that has never had city sewer. 40
Oh, you
homes.
can't really say that.
Well,
That's city sewer.
they've had city sewer, but they've shared a common,
It's a privately owned
shared a common
Fine.
lateral.
It's 40 plus homes, I think.
I'm not sure how many's out there, to be honest.
Close. So, just to clarify this, that's what this is for.
Alderman Downs.
Don't we have to do D first? The letter of understanding, was that, don't we need to talk about that first before we approve the project?
I would think
I
that
mean,
would make it easier.
Okay.
it's the next item.
Right, but I'm not super comfortable voting on this until I know.
Okay, so then would those who made the motion withdraw their motions?
Withdraw my motion.
I believe it was Rhonda.
I'll withdraw
Okay,
mine.
okay. We'll move on to 9D and then we will come back to 9C. Item 9D, approval of letter of understanding between Open Arms Fellowship and the City of Lincoln.
Move to approve.
Second.
Alderman Sanders made the motion. Alderman Bateman second. Discussion.
Has this been signed?
We received a signed copy from Open Arms today, pending council discussion on this. Mr. Hoblet, anything to add to that?
You said we received a signed copy pending council discussion. What's that mean?
Well, I have not signed that document until the council takes or makes a decision on it. Open Arms has already made that decision. They're fine with the language of the MOU, and Pastor Larry has signed that document.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep. Sorry for the confusion. Alderman Bateman.
So again, for clarification, the reason this is needed is the said sewer line cannot be installed or replaced where it currently sits, which is in everybody's backyards, underneath houses, garages, and such, when it was built in the 50s. So in order for the city to do this, we need to move the sewer line out to an area that is currently owned by Open Arms, and we needed an easement to do that.
Any other discussion on this item? Okay. Roll call on item 9D, please.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. McCullen?
I'm going to abstain. I have a pretty close relationship with Open Arms, so I feel like I should abstain.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay. Now we'll go back to item 9C. Approval of Crawford Murphy and Tilly work order number 13 for planning and design engineering for the sewer project on Campus View Drive in an amount not to exceed $100,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Alderman Sanders made the motion. Alderwoman O'Donahue second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mrs. O'Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. McCullen?
Abstain.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Okay, next item is 9E, approval of an increase in the spending limit for the city clerk Peggy S. Bateman for the Heartland Bank credit card to the amount of $5,000.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Parrott made the motion, Alderman Anderson second. Discussion? Alderwoman McClellan.
I would just like to give honor where honor's due, and Peggy just does a fantastic job. I mean, she gets the details right. It makes our job so easy, and I just wanted to, this is a very simple thing we can do to help. I think we should do it, so.
Agreed. Okay, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Abstain.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. McCullen?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donahue?
Yes.
Okay, next item is 9F, approval of the renewal of certificate of deposit for a term of 6 months at an interest rate of 4.1% with United Community Bank.
Move to approve.
Second.
Alderwoman O'Donohue made the motion, Alderman Sanders second. Discussion? Treasurer Gonzo.
Thank you, Mayor. After this was brought forward at last Tuesday's committee of the whole meeting, talked with the bank, in this case United Community Bank, and they are agreeable to giving us that 4.1% rate on a 9-month CD, which is on a renewal of this as a 9-month CD, which is higher than 9-month CD would have yielded otherwise. So I strongly recommend that we approve that for the 9 months and take advantage of that 4.1% while it's available.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll need an amendment.
I'll make a motion to amend it to a 9-month.
Second.
Alderwoman O'Donohue made the motion to amend it to a 9-month CD. Alderman Sanders second. Discussion? Roll call on the amendment, please.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. McCullen?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this item? Then roll call on 9F as amended, please.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. McCullen?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Okay, next item is 9G, approval of an agreement with GovHR USA LLC for a salary compensation study in an amount not to exceed $10,000.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Parrott made the motion, Alderman Sanders second. Discussion? Alderman Bateman.
So we had a couple aldermen do studies before a few years ago and never got any results of that. I will vote yes on this, but I would like to make it clear that any results that come from this study should be shared with the entire council and not just with people on the hopes that they would then share it with the entire council. So
We'll make sure that the results are shared with the council. Okay, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. McCullen?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
yes.
Okay, that brings us down to announcements. I believe Alderman Downs, you have an announcement?
I do. I want to invite the world to this Saturday to the square downtown for our 5th annual Logan County Pride Fest. It begins at 3. We're gonna have a ribbon cutting ceremony there. At 4:30 begins our mustache and facial hair contest. There will be medals for the first, second, and third place winners. 6 o'clock there's a dog costume or pet costume contest. At 7:30 there's a raffle for a pie in the alderman's face. And there's going to be live music, bouncy houses, 60 vendors, food trucks, and it should be an amazing time. So I would like to see as many people there as possible.
Okay, thanks, Sam. Alderman Parrott.
Just two things. One, congratulations to the Lincoln 4x8 relay team of Pierce King, Henry Stolzenberg, Colin Crombie, and Owen Kryulik. Surlik. I apologize. On their fourth place finish in the 2A track and field at state. That was one.
Okay.
And then just another, I mean, Chuck mentioned the building that was torn down, and it reminded me of the side of the building that was painted. Is that building completely painted, and that's the way it's going to look?
Actually, I talked to them today. They're coming back to do. I had some problems with it, so they're gonna.
Yeah, because it doesn't look very good from
Well,
the street.
I mean,
They-
what I had an issue with was the building line. It looked a little flake to me, so they're supposed to be back to address that. They've came and looked at it, the owners, and then they're sending the guy back.
Yeah, because
But it's not gonna look like one of these walls.
well, I just expect just not to see, I expect to see one color. I think I'm seeing like bleed through or white, as well, and some of it.
I was by there today. I didn't notice that.
Okay.
It's all painted the same
Okay.
color. If that's what you mean.
Thank you.
But there is still a little bit more to do.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Steve, because when the treasurer was giving his reports earlier, he did mention the cost of that project. I think it's important to also, not that the treasurer omitted this, but it's just important to share the fact that the city has received some insurance money. Mr. Woodhull, was that, I want to say it was 109,000. Is that,
Say 109,450.
yeah, is that correct, Treasurer Conzo?
That sounds right. It was
Okay.
109 something, but
Okay.
so, and I think the demolition was right maybe a little over 250.
Yeah,
Slept since.
yeah, we'd have to go back and look, but I just want to make sure that it was shared that we did receive money from the insurance on that one, and still some ongoing efforts on that one. Okay, the only other thing, Chief, hate to put you on the spot, but last time we spoke, you were going to share some information about e-bikes. Can you share that information with us?
Yeah, it's been a subject of quite a bit of discussion and some complaints that we've received from community members regarding e-bikes and the gas-powered bicycles, traveling at high rates of speed, violating stop signs and other traffic control devices, skipping intersections to avoid them, different things like that. In response to the complaints, I've instructed the department to boost enforcement, and I have seen both city ordinance and state violation citations come in. It's going to be a focus. It's written up on our patrol room board in my handwriting to continue the enforcement of those violations, and the public should be aware of that as well. Keep your eye out for these things. Sometimes folks do drive them dangerously. Obviously, if they cause a collision, it will be their fault. They're subject to all the same traffic laws as pedestrians and vehicles are. So we're going to be out there checking these folks. And nighttime enforcement has been boosted as well, both for regular pedal cycles and for the electronic and the gas-powered ones. A lot of light enforcement. We're seeing a lot of bicycles out at night that don't have the required lighting and reflectors, things like that. And if that response, or if we don't get a good enough response out of just boosting the enforcement, we're going to probably move forward with starting to do some impoundments. Our city code provides that if we find a bicycle in violation, not only can we cite the operator of the bicycle, but we can impound that bicycle for up to 30 days. And they'll be taking the Nike Express instead of the Huffy Express at that point for a while, just to try to get some compliance out of these folks.
Thanks, Ms. McClellan.
Are those licensed vehicles? Are they? No.
Mr. Clemens.
Need a bigger fence.
So we got a few in there already. We were lucky enough to get rid of quite a few of them, but we got that fence operational, and it's actually helped out a ton. We can get vehicles and more evidence into Bay 1, which was the goal of completing that project, and it was achieved. So again, thank you for your consideration on that one.
And as the chief alluded, it's really not about punishing people. It's just about making sure people are operating them safely. It as times change, they're becoming more prevalent on the streets. People can purchase them. It's a great way to get to and from and to work and things of that nature. We just want to make sure that they're doing it safely. I've seen them running straight down the middle of Woodlawn in traffic, right alongside of traffic. And if the state law allows for that, perfectly fine to allow that. Just we want to make sure it's done safely. So, Mr. Woodall.
Yeah, Mr. Parrott mentioned the 4x8 track team. Parker Campbell, who I believe is a senior, got 8th in the 300 hurdles and 2nd in the 110 hurdles in the state.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, I missed that. Congratulations.
Okay. Any other announcements? Chief Meister and then Ms. Bateman.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Would you like to go first?
You're fine.
Okay. Just wanted to congratulate once again the Mount Pulaski Hilltoppers shotgun sports team. They won once again a consecutive state championship in skeet on Friday last week, and then another state championship in trap on Sunday. And then the Sporting Clays team will be shooting on June 14th. Results obviously to be determined, but congratulations to them, and I'd like to thank the coaching staff too. They teach these kids a lot of great responsibility and are good mentors.
Ms. Bateman.
This is for awareness. The city has Health Alliance for their health insurance. And some of you may know that come January 1, Health Alliance will no longer be writing big groups, which we are classified as a big group. R.W. Garrett's went out and to see what they could do for quote-wise, because they are in the insurance world and they can kind of see the writing on the wall, what could happen. They don't know, because we're limited of who can write us. They went out to Blue Cross Blue Shield, which everybody questions the Springfield Clinic issue, which this is the group, this is the plan that does include everything with Springfield Clinic. They reached out to United Healthcare, and it was a little higher than what the Blue Cross was, and there was little hoops you had to jump through when it comes to your prescriptions. They reached out to Aetna, and we have too many retirees under the age of, too many retirees under the age of 65 on our plans to write with Aetna. So it was boiled down to Blue Cross or United Healthcare. Blue Cross came back with an 18-month rate guarantee if we would switch July 1st. Health Alliance we're currently with, I mean, we're from month to month anyway, so we're not locked in to Health Alliance. The insurance committee, which involves two people from each union, and then the mayor, myself, and the deputy clerk sit on that committee, and our Sarah Swans with R.W. Garrett's came and gave us the information, gave us what our options are. Our claims are wonderful right now, which is great to say we have a lot of healthy employees. But then you're in the gambling game. Do you wait it out with Health Alliance until December 31st and see what Blue Cross will come back rate-wise? Or do we just go for it, switch July 1st to Blue Cross Blue Shield and with that 18-month rate guarantee? So the committee went back to each unions and everybody and asked, and they felt that we should switch July 1st to Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's a voting issue, and time is up against us right now. If we wait for you to vote, it'll be the 16th of June, and this is supposed to go July 1st. That involves getting a hold of retirees that are under 65, along with all the active employees, to get everything, have them pick their plan, switch, get everything gone and switched over. So I'm asking if everybody's kind of like the nod, if we could go ahead and move forward, and we can still put this on the voting to make it legal that you voted upon the switch.
This
It is
one
Monday
Monday.
night.
Mr. Parrott?
The state is in the same situation. I was on Health Alliance, and they didn't even give us a choice to go until January, and so it wasn't even an option. Aetna was one. Health Links was another one, and so yeah, don't give them a choice. Just change it.
And the Blue Cross Blue Shield rates, like the employee only thing, they're all down a little, few dollars than what it is right now, other than the one plan, which is like maybe $3 more. But where it hits, and no matter where you do, if you add a child or a family or whatever, that's always going to get you. And I don't know if we'll ever get away from that.
Okay.
So it's okay to just go ahead and put it on the cow and then the voting, and but have R.W. Garrett's move forward.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do. Thanks.
Okay. Yep. Okay, I have one more I forgot about that I just wanted to share. So if you were following the session with the General Assembly in the state of Illinois, they did pass a budget this weekend, and well, let me get to the good stuff. So in the budget that was passed, they kept the $500 million that was put in there for the Surplus to Success program and the DCEO program, what we know as the LDC remediation. So that money is now in the budget, and there is a Lincoln task force that we put together, and I can share that list with those of you. I'll send you an email, let you know who's on there. But we did have a meeting. We were waiting to meet again to see if the budget actually passed with the money in it. So we're going to move forward. We're going to have a meeting. We're going to do a site visit of the property. So I just want you to know that that is moving forward, and I'll keep you posted on that. So good for Lincoln as long as it continues to move forward as proposed. Any questions on that? Okay. Any other announcements? Okay, if there are no other announcements, I would ask for a motion to go into executive session under 2C5, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body. Under 2C5. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
The motion was made by Alderman Clemmons. Motion was seconded by Alderman Downs. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Clemmons?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donoghue?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. McCullen?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Okay, we're going into executive session at 6:57 p.m. There will be no city business to follow.